Welcome in, Monday edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you today. We will talk Lane Kiffin. We'll talk Ole Miss Arkansas. We'll look at probably some lines.
Something tells me we will
things.
not talk much about Ole Miss Arkansas.
You don't think so?
I'm going to guess that we don't talk much about it at all.
Okay. You don't think we're going to do that today?
I just have my doubts. We'll see.
Ole Miss opens, and we're going to break down the Razorbacks and the Rebels today on the program. Yeah, we'll get to stuff. You guys know what we're going to talk about, so we'll get there soon on a podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. They are still another game day football jersey to give away, the Egg Bowl, in a couple weeks. When you do that, you just have to go to the Blue Sky location here in town. You have to make a purchase, and every time you make a purchase, that is a separate chance to enter the contest to win one of those jerseys, whatever the Egg Bowl one will be. They've already given away 6, one more to go. You can also get lunch specials. I believe chicken spaghetti is the special today for that. Comes with any size fountain drink and bread as well. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest will join at some point this week, I'm sure, on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Square is the perfect place for your Christmas party or gathering that can accommodate parties of 10 to 500. Great food with a Cajun flair. Holiday drinks in a festive atmosphere. Call Jeannie 601-842-0948 to request a catering menu and to reserve a date. A couple of player shows are in the queue, ready for you later today. One, the Mason Brooks Show, which is brought to you by The Rogue. It should be up around 1 o'clock Central Time today. The Rogue at 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. Great place for you to do some of your holiday shopping. Also, the Davis and Igbenosin Show set to debut late this afternoon, early this evening. That's brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com and find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi.
Thoughts with University of Virginia this morning. Neal and I just kind of coming across everything here. They had a mass shooting last night, I think around a parking garage on campus, but on campus nonetheless. So far, 3 victims have been identified, including all 3 matter. Don't get me wrong here, but a football player inside, or one of the 3. Deshaun Perry, a linebacker and defensive end, and the suspect that is still at large. They currently have everyone sheltered in place, and a manhunt going on the Charlottesville campus as of 8:18 this morning, as we're recording. Is a former walk-on running back on the football team. So that is what I'm seeing, reading from the Daily Progress this morning. They're out of Charlottesville, so just awful.
Yeah, I pulled up the Wall Street Journal. It had pretty similar accounts. So,
did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. That's where we are. So we're off a little bit here this morning. All right, everybody knows what they want to talk about. We'll talk about it. We'll dive right in. There's no reason me even playing around this morning. I'm just gonna piss people off. I'll let you do this though, because I have thoughts too. We've talked to different people.
Yeah,
it's a strength.
Hey, understatement. I want that check. You talked to anybody? Yeah, a few people. Yeah, for the last 2 months. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's the one you push back on. People like, you're not even working on this. It's like, dude.
Well, it's the irony of this is that, you talk to so many different people, and it is very, very rare for you and I to speak to the same person. I mean, hardly ever. I mean, it hardly ever happens.
Literally almost never.
No, I know. So Auburn's looking for a football coach. We've known for a while, and this is where there is a little bit of frustration, is that just because you say something every single day doesn't mean what you said a week ago is still not completely relevant, and nothing has tangibly changed at that point. I mean, right. We can make a thread every morning that goes, hey, same thing, but just trust us that if something that we feel confident in being accurate is true, you will hear about it in all the different ways that we have a platform to make sure you hear about it. So Auburn's looking for a football coach. It's very obvious that Lane Kiffin is the preferred candidate to a measurable number of people around the Auburn program in all capacities.
Yes.
He's the preeminent top candidate at this point for
yes.
that. That is 100% true, and that's been true for a while. That is not any secret at this point.
Absolutely.
Now, from there is what gets a little sticky. The last few days have, really yesterday, picked up a lot of buzz on different Auburn team sites through the Auburn media, including Brandon Marcello, who covered Auburn for a long time. And I can make some shots, but that is not one. That's just true. Let me ask you this. We'll set it up this way.
Okay.
Is that, and again, there's going to be some speculating today, so I'm just giving that forewarning, and I will yell at you if you take what we say verbatim and as complete honesty. What do you feel like has ignited things in the last 24
hours? Social media, fan sites that are running with rumors that are fairly unsubstantiated but have just enough morsel of truth in them to give them breath.
Mm-hmm.
It's my guess. No, it's not my guess. That's what I know.
Sure.
So, look, I think a number of things have possibly happened / likely happened. There's no doubt that Lane Kiffin is Auburn's top priority, and that if Auburn can hire Lane Kiffin, Auburn will hire Lane Kiffin. That to me, I don't even think that's speculation anymore. Now, there was talk last week that, I guess, when was it, Friday? There was a rumor that kind of started popping because my phone blew up with it, that Auburn had offered Lane Kiffin a certain number. I'm immediately skeptical when I hear a number because I've done this long enough to know that, let's say John Cohen was authorized by Auburn to offer a specific number. If that number gets out specifically, you have major problems institutionally with leaks. That's number one. Number two, it's more likely that there wasn't a specific number. Lane Kiffin wasn't flying to Auburn last week. That was a rumor. Lane Kiffin wasn't talking with Auburn all last week. That was a rumor. So is there back channel conversations? Of course. People talk to agents and people talk through people, and all that stuff happens. It always happens. It's always going to happen. Did he get a specific offer? I don't know. Here's the problem that I ran into over the course of the weekend is someone who I viewed to be reliable would tell me something which I viewed to be potentially reliable, and then would turn around and tell me something else that I knew not to be true. And when I would press back on it, I would find out that, well, some of what I just told you was opinion, which makes me go, well, what about the rest of what you told me? Because if that's opinion too, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. And
your opinion might be informed.
But that's going in a different column here.
But that doesn't make it factual.
Yeah, sure.
And so, I don't know a number of things. And I don't know that anybody does. Number one, what does Lane Kiffin want to do? Well, at the end of the day, it's his decision. What does he want to do? Is it about nothing but money? I don't have any idea. And here's the part when I hear people go, well, Lane says this and Lane says this, and you know this better than me. The number of people that Lane Kiffin talks to is so small, so incredibly small, that
you wouldn't need your whole hand.
Oh, no. You could lose multiple fingers and still be good.
Yeah.
It is so small. And I think, and when I say this, I don't mean in terms of like aggressively, but I think that list is a volatile list. I think things change rapidly. I don't think there's a routine, a process that he necessarily follows in making decisions. I mean, if you remember a few years ago, he anguished over, and I think that's the right word, to the point that Arkansas got cold feet. Like, what are we doing? I mean, he had kind of an offer from Arkansas for a couple of weeks that he went back and forth on.
He didn't want it, but he wanted out of Boca. He would have taken it.
He didn't want it, but then he kind of wanted it, and then he didn't kind of want it, and then he didn't have any alternative, and he was going to take it, and then maybe he stayed at Boca for another year, or maybe I need to take it, to the point that people there were like, hey.
And then he kicked tires on him for 72 hours because he thought Ole Miss was at least possible, and he wanted that one instead.
Yeah.
And then it went from there.
And, look, he got here, and in 2020 he went after is it safe to say he pursued jobs, or he certainly inquired about jobs, frankly, including the Auburn job?
Sure.
Last year, he was very interested in the LSU job. He was interested in the Miami job. He was interested in the Vikings job, I think it's safe to say. I think there is NFL interest on his part. So this Auburn thing, as it has evolved, and see, I feel bad doing a whole lot of talking when I don't write this, so I'm going to be really careful here. I think as this Auburn thing has evolved, it's twofold. One, he's got a decision to make. Is that a job that I want to take? Is that the direction that I want to go? And then two, if I do take that job, what does it mean for my future? Because I don't think Lane Kiffin in 8 years is going to be at Ole Miss or Auburn. I laugh at the people that think Lane Kiffin's going to Auburn and going to stay 10, 15 years and be the next Shug Jordan or something. That's not happening. It's just not who he is. But is that a job that he wants? I don't know. I'm of the opinion, Chase, that there's one college job that Lane Kiffin really wants. Maybe two, but one for sure. And if he takes this job, he can't ever take that job. Because Alabama's never hiring the Auburn coach.
No, it's what's – because I think everybody's getting hung up on the wrong things. Whether he does or does not take this job, and again, okay, let's keep this in the context that I'm about to say this.
Good luck.
Huge differences are huge differences, and you can't ignore them. But as a whole, I do not believe this decision is about money for Lane Kiffin. I don't. I don't think this is, oh, God, you're getting this here, and it's a lot of damn money either way.
Yeah.
And I understand buyout numbers and all that stuff, but no coach thinks he's getting fired. No coach ever thinks he's not winning wherever he goes. It's how they're wired. It's what they do.
Yeah.
So total contract amounts, if that is a reason that is given for why somebody takes a job, is they are looking for a reason, and that's not actually the reason. That's a lie.
Agreed.
If Ole Miss offers somebody, take Lane out of it, if Ole Miss offers a guy 6 years at $10 million and somebody else offers 10 years at $8 million, they go, nope, it's 2 more years. You're lying. That was not why you took that job.
Agreed.
Ever.
Never.
That is
Agreed.
not a thing.
Agreed.
Annual value matters to a degree, but not total amount of money. Who gives a shit?
Agreed.
Ole Miss, if Lane Kiffin's winning, they're going to renew it all the time, and you're going to write a new contract and pay him even more money. That's how this job works.
Literally to the point that, let's say he got the job, pick a school, Ole Miss or Auburn. I don't care. Say he coached them both.
Yeah, sure.
And he gets $10 million. And next year he wins big. He's going to ask for more. They're going to redo that contract. 10's going to become 11.5. The hang up on the contract, like it's some absolute. Frankly, for me, when people talk like that, I discount them as sources. I just kind of walk away from that conversation. Contracts in that realm are rewritten and redone all the time. Constantly. They're nothing more than a template.
And in my opinion, people are also getting things wrong of going, oh, he's trying to pick Ole Miss or Auburn or wherever because they have more chance of winning, or Grove Collective or all that stuff. I don't think that even matters. I don't. I think it matters to a point.
I'm curious, so I think I agree with you. But
it matters indirectly.
In what way? I mean, what do you mean?
Look, when Lane Kiffin lines up on a field, again, this is all opinion, but when Lane Kiffin lines up on a field, he's going to try to win every game. And yes, he wants to go undefeated and he wants to win national titles. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I think in a lot of ways, this is as much about Lane Kiffin and a 5-year plan or whatever you want to pick as anything else.
His 5-year plan.
Yes. It's
right.
Can I get to where I want, to the pinnacle of my profession, from here or here? Because in a lot of ways, if he can do it from Ole Miss, there's no reason to go to Auburn. It makes no sense.
So when you say pinnacle of,
I mean NFL, I mean Alabama, I mean take your pick on whatever that is. I mean it's pretty well sourced that Lane Kiffin, when he goes to bed at night and said, "Hey, any football job in the country, what do you want?" It's Chargers, Rams, Alabama. I mean, I think. Now, and look, he wants any NFL job over any college job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting Alabama and the Rams on the same footing.
Yes.
But, yes, he is a guy who would like another shot at the NFL, and he would like very specific jobs in the NFL if he just got completely his druthers to do that. I believe that to be the case. So it's where this has gotten a little off rails, and I'll write this on the site later. I'm not trying to do a lot of stuff on the podcast we're not doing on the site. I don't think this is necessarily about what everybody else is trying to make this about. I don't think it's about money, and I don't think it's about how much is in the NIL collective today versus tomorrow. I don't think that crap is what we're actually talking about.
I agree.
I think what we're talking about, and it's where Marcelo's tweet was really stupid yesterday.
Fill people in on what the tweet was.
He said something like, it was a picture of Lane, or a video of Lane in his press conference with a quote, and then it said, "Has he reached his ceiling in Oxford?" or something along those lines. That might not be verbatim, but that was basically what it said.
And the answer to that is no.
The answer is no. The question is, what is the ceiling in Oxford? Those are not the two same things. It's, does Lane Kiffin believe everything he can do anywhere else he can do here?
Well, I mean, look.
That is the freaking question.
Look, here's where some of this gets clouded. And I'm friends with a lot of these people. Everybody knows that Jay's a good friend. And I think, best I can tell, Jay's been very responsible in his reporting so far. I can't speak to the others over there. I don't know what the other people have reported. I don't follow it. I don't know what other people here have reported. Chase can vouch for this. I don't follow any of them. I don't read it. I don't know. So I don't know what other people have said. But I did say this the other day. I do hope one day in my life I can look in the mirror and look at myself and feel the way about myself that Auburn feels about Auburn. I really do. Like, I hope one day I can look in the mirror and go, son of a bitch, you look great. I don't know that I'll ever get to that place, but I think that's Auburn. And I think in Auburn's world, because listen, nothing against you guys, because I know you're in the thread, and thank you for being here. Y'all get a little culty. I mean, Saturday night, it's kind of culty. Things that will never happen at Alabama for 1,000, Alex. That was a little weird. And so Auburn gets this deal where, okay, well, he can either coach at Ole Miss or he can coach at Auburn. And we're going to pay him more money over 10 years or 8 years or whatever. It's a fait accompli. He's going to take the job. Now, they could end up being right, because I think it's a very real possibility that Lane Kiffin is the next coach at Auburn. I do. I'm not sure I'm ready to say it's likely, but I think it's a real possibility. Is that fair?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
Sure. I mean,
it's a real possibility. I can't sit here and tell you emphatically today that it will not.
And that doesn't mean 99%
no,
people. It means it's also very possible he's not the coach at Auburn.
I would not be willing to go, oh, yes, he will be the coach at Auburn. Nope. Wouldn't say that either. I don't know that anyone knows today. In fact, I'm fairly sure no one does, including him. Pretty positive that no one knows.
He knows.
Okay. But they view it like that, and it turns into, it clouds the way that it's reported.
Yeah, and
because in their world over there, they cannot imagine that Lane Kiffin would decide to stay at Ole Miss, because they're viewing everything as a long-term college football decision. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think that's an entry point into a couple different things. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back there. I'll keep you back.
Can I say something real fast?
Go ahead.
But when people say, has he reached his ceiling at Ole Miss? Well, obviously not. Because, look, the other day, they played Alabama toe-to-toe. When you play a game like that, you could have won. And had they won, he's an 11-1 coach in the playoff conversation. So, no, he's not reached his ceiling. He's gotten close to the ceiling, because the truth is Ole Miss is closer to the ceiling right now than a lot of things. And here's the other thing that he takes a gamble on at Auburn. When you go to Auburn, that roster's trash. You've got to start over a little bit with that roster. Is that something Lane Kiffin wants to do for 2-3 years? Lane Kiffin's 48 next season when the season begins. I don't know that he wants to rebuild a roster. Maybe he does. I don't know. But Auburn's a rebuild.
And is a rebuild at Auburn push his timeline back if he's trying to do something else in professional football? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to that. How would the NFL view a 7-5 Auburn year one?
Yeah.
Because year one at Ole Miss was 5-5.
Yeah. And it was a COVID year.
It was a COVID year, but they didn't get out. My point is they didn't come out of the gates going, boom, we're winning. It took a minute.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark. NESPARC service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extender for anyone who needs that extra help, and more. Again, that's 662-238-3159.
Walk-On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine, po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. It's walkons.com or on the convenient Walk-Ons app. Visit their Walk-Ons today in Oxford or Ridgeland. If you haven't heard, Dead Soxy is excited to announce the next step after becoming licensed with the university. Dead Soxy is extremely grateful for the opportunity to partner with the Grove Collective, creating unique student-athlete NIL creations that give back. Visit deadsoxy.com/NIL to see which 2 collections drop first and to gain access to pre-sale opportunities. Additionally, Dead Soxy welcomes you to the pre-Cyber 2022 sale. Buy more, save more. The more you spend, the more you save, so stock up on gifts, stocking stuffers, and don't forget a little something extra for you. 25% off any order using code REBELGROVE. Spend $50 or more, get free shipping. 30% off on any order of $120 or more. 40% off on any order of $240 or more. So stock your sock drawers and have a wonderful holiday season. We are also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names. Same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer at 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online auction company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items at A-Stock start at just $1. That's right, every item starts at just $1. Shop now at astock.bid or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock Auctions has multiple locations around Nashville that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. If you want it, bid it, win it.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine to prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need it when you do with G&M. Also with Tyson Drugs out of Holly Springs, and they're with their individually packaged medications. You can also do that to get the doses in the morning, in the afternoon, everything there for those people who need a little bit of special attention and assistance. So again, that's G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. Now look, yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, we were talking about it. And I think that's kind of full circle on the very first comment we made. I think that's a lot of ways what happened is what we said. I think that something came about where Auburn believed that they had the resources to hit whatever this perceived number is.
Yep.
And that once that was done, that's it. It's over. That's all. Auburn, in their minds, better than Ole Miss. Why would you do anything but come to the Plains and join the AU family?
And in fairness, 9 out of 10 coaches, I might see why they would feel that way.
Sure.
Maybe even 99 out of 100 coaches. But to say Lane's a different bird is an understatement.
Well, here's a couple things. While I'm not even necessarily disagreeing, 2022 far different than even 2015 when it comes to that. College football landscape changing in a lot of different ways. There's lots of things. There's no proof of concept that Auburn booster access in situations are going to be tons better than they've been in the past. I mean, there's no magic pill that just says suddenly they're not going to be this dysfunctional glob that it's been at times and messed up multiple coaching tenures. But point being, we don't know whether it's confidence or arrogant yet because we don't know what Lane Kiffin's going to do.
Right.
If he takes the job, then okay, you're right.
Right.
Cool. If he doesn't, you look like an idiot. And there's really nothing in between. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, that's all. That's
I don't know
where
what
we are.
Marcelo has done or whatever, but I mean, I kind of feel like he's put himself out on an island, and it might work out for him. But
I think Lane is bothered by the fact that he is characterized as this quick jump guy. I don't know that that's dictating a decision, but I think it does bother him. Because you look at it, he really only did it one time. And he did it on something that he regrets. I think he wishes he had stayed at Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he did it for what he saw as the perfect dream job. And when you're that age especially, it's hard to go, nope, I'm going to wait, and this isn't the right thing for me.
Well, he thought he was going to SC, and he was going to
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the same vein as what Matt Luke did.
Yeah.
He'd been much better off going to South Al or somebody for somewhere for 3 or 4 years, and then
sure.
see it if you can get the Power 5 jump from there.
Sure.
As a head coach. Instead, you take the job and it falls apart, and it is what it is. So, point being, he's not a quick jump guy, though. He has tried to an extent because he's not gotten some gigs. But look at look at where he's been. He got fired from the Raiders.
He didn't do it twice. He did it once.
Yeah.
He got fired at USC.
Got fired at SC, and he stayed at FAU 3 years.
Yeah.
Come on. He took an SEC job in Alabama outside. No.
2 SEC programs were pursuing him. He would have been fooled to have stayed at FAU and gambled for another year. That would have been idiotic. He coached at FAU for 3 years. He was at Alabama as a coordinator for 3 years.
Yeah, no, he's done it one time. Highly publicized, but one time.
Yeah. Left Tennessee after a year to take his dream job, only to find out that the dream job was kind of a nightmare job because of the NCAA stuff and things got weird. And, yeah, he looks back on it and goes, probably should have just stuck it out at Tennessee. Liked it there. Named his kid Knox, for God's sake. I mean, liked it. But he was younger then. I mean, I laugh at the people. I've covered the guy for 3 years now, right? And I think we've had 2 conversations. I mean,
I think that's probably right.
You know, I mean, the people that act like they know this guy cracks me up. They don't. It's a very small group, and so you learn who to kind of listen to. And if you listen to those people, I had someone tell me last night, who I think knows Kiffin fairly well, said, kind of goes back and forth. Well, people don't typically make decisions on back and forth. You got to have some. A lot of people read something chased into that last quote on Saturday night without giving the perspective of what happened in that setting. We'll dive into that in a minute if you want to, but I think people read way too much into that quote.
Do we have it
I'll
exactly?
Find it. Yep, I'll read it to you. Let me find it.
Okay, sure.
Because I wrote it in my column. Because I thought it was telling, and I wished at that time. But by 8 o'clock on Saturday night, I felt so miserable that it was hard to even focus on the computer in front of me. All right, so let me set the stage here. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. It's the end of Lane's post-game press conference. He got in there quicker than usual, which is usually a sign that a coach is emotional, almost always. And he was kind of, I don't mean in tears, but Lane was pissed.
There's only so much you can say to your guys after that one. So
he had come back from a very emotional locker room. It's my understanding that most of the guys in the locker room were crying. It was a devastated locker room. He had come back. I think Lane, I was told this yesterday, that Lane believed all last week that Ole Miss was going to win the game.
Yeah.
They didn't. He was furious at stuff, frustrated at stuff, just in general in a foul mood.
Yeah, his own team, officiating, the whole game.
Everything. So I asked him about second half offense, and he said, well, that's fair. And then he kind of defended it for a minute, and then he went back and forth. He got asked something else that he goes, no, that's fair. And then he kind of got into it. And then we were kind of done. He was talking about what a missed opportunity, and it's a shame. So much was lost, and et cetera.
Which is what he has said for years. He's not doing the, hey, we got really close here, guys. He got pissed off in year one when they applauded the Alabama loss.
And then a young reporter for 24/7. He works 247, right?
That's correct,
okay.
Yes.
who's a nice kid. But 247, and I'm this is going to sound like I'm trashing them, and I'm not. I'm being totally transparent. They work on a click model. So they, from a game, write 400 things. I'm being hyperbolic, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They take a press conference and take a quote and turn it into a story. Hey, Lane, talk about player X. Kiffin gives them a quote. Regardless of how bad the quote is, that's a story. Hey, talk about player Y. Another story. So this young reporter said, kind of nervously, you guys, and I'm paraphrasing, had more success running the football against Alabama. Is that a positive that you can whatever? And Lane didn't like that question. And he said, quote, I don't really give a shit about how many yards we had or how close the game was. We didn't win the game. 2 years ago, we walked off this field, and I said we didn't come here to cover spreads or come here to play what was at the time the number one team in the country close. It doesn't matter. We didn't win the game. At some places, that's good, and maybe here in the past, but it's not good enough. We came here to win, to beat Alabama, and we didn't do it. And some people have said, see, that's a shot at Ole Miss. That's saying that you can't do it at Ole Miss, that you guys are settle for moral victories. And I'm just telling you, that is not what
Repeat
happened.
it one more time.
I don't really give a shit about how many yards we had or how close the game was.
Yep.
We didn't win the game. 2 years ago, we walked off this field, and I said, we didn't come here to cover spreads or come here to play what was at the time the number one team in the country close. It doesn't matter. We didn't win the game. At some places, that's good, and maybe here in the past, but it's not good enough. We came here to win, to beat Alabama, and we didn't do it.
There's nothing in that quote that signifies him saying he's hit a ceiling. Literally nothing.
Nothing.
If anything, it's going, God damn it, I've changed the culture, and I am...
He was pissed off at the question.
Yes.
It was a bad question. The timing of the question was really bad because we'd already kind of a press conference, and everybody, if you do this long enough, you know when a press conference has reached its organic.
Especially with a pissed off coach.
It's organic.
Especially
climax.
with the pissed off coach.
And this one had. This one had reached the end. The one thing he was waiting on, I think, was for someone to ask about officiating, and I was like, I really want to see a couple of things first. Then that didn't happen, and he was ready to walk away, and this young reporter asked that question, and it was bad setup. But that was not his commentary one way or the other about the Ole Miss job.
No, it
just wasn't.
Frankly, it wasn't necessarily speaking to anybody but the reporter because I think the fan base was mostly pissed for the most part. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody was applauding them at the end of the game for getting close.
And maybe Lane will say something today about 2 10-win seasons, and that's just changing. You know, it's just I know that they changed something in the building from win the West to win the rest, but it's because these next 2 weeks they can't win the West.
Yeah, sure.
They can't.
I mean,
it's over.
Yeah.
LSU won the West.
Mathematically, that's the deal. LSU is going to play Georgia and Atlanta in a couple weeks.
You're not getting there this year.
Yeah.
So you got to recalibrate your goals, but not your big picture goals.
And he has done this. What's funny is what he's saying is what's permeated through the fan base, because the fan base right now, there's a section that, I mean, nobody's pissed off about it. It's not a bad year, but 10-2 feels like a disappointment. 10-2. And now look, they still got a lot of work to do. Got to go to Fayetteville Saturday. Got Mississippi State at home. But he has effectively changed the mentality of the program in a lot of ways. I mean, you and I have been around for a really, really long time. I'm almost 20 years on this now on the beat. And this is, even with the freeze outside of maybe 15, this is the only time where it's been, no, the goals are bigger than win as many games as possible and go to a really nice bowl game. That's it.
Yeah, and I just thought of something else, too.
Sure.
That circles back to Auburn. One of the reasons that you're seeing this borderline desperation out of Auburn, kind of twofold. One, the rest of the field isn't all that attractive.
No, it's pretty average after.
Like, I've had one person tell me, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll throw it out there because his name's flying around. I've gotten a couple of texts on this name this morning. Auburn had real interest and may still have real interest in Dan Lanning.
Okay.
The Oregon coach.
Yeah.
Yet getting Dan Lanning out of Oregon is going to be problematic on a number of levels, in large part because I'm not sure Dan Lanning wants the job. So if it's not Dan Lanning and it's not Lane Kiffin, well, who is it? Is it Hugh Freeze? Because Auburn got to see the Hugh Freeze experience up close and personal in the last 2 weeks. Goes to Fayetteville, wins. Now, was that a good Arkansas team? I don't know. Quarterback was hurt. They might end up going 5-7 because there's no sure thing in Arkansas schedule the rest of the way. Ole Miss and at Missouri, there's no gimme on that slate. So, and then he goes to Connecticut and loses in Stores. That's the Hugh Freeze experience. I covered a Hugh Freeze coach team that went to Tuscaloosa and won, and in the same year lost at Memphis. So there's a consistent inconsistency there. You going to hire Mark Stoops, the one who just lost to Vanderbilt? By the way, kudos to my guy Clark Lee. I'm sorry I gave up on you last week. It's all on me. I apologize. Vanderbilt wins its first SEC game in more than 1,000 days. You going to hire the coach that he beat? Who are you hiring? And there's probably some smart people over there that go, this Williams thing is gaining a little too much momentum and we need to kill this.
There's probably a thought too, because this is back to, again, arrogance, I don't know, we'll see. There's the thought that Kiffin did this at Ole Miss, and if you take that, it also removes one of the factors in the West, that it knocks Ole Miss down a peg.
Sure.
That you're double impacting at that point. Because, I mean, look.
It is ironic that a place that looks down on Ole Miss the way that Auburn does is now
trying to go 2 for 25. Yeah.
Trying to go, and one of the fallbacks is a guy that also coached at Ole Miss for 6 years. It's a fascinating thing.
Well, because look, if you in an SEC West today, Alabama's still Alabama. LSU's clearly trending.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. A&M has this talent, but is a certifiable train wreck right now.
Yes.
And then the rest of the time, you go, if you're Auburn and go, hey, who else are we worried about? It's Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And it's not close. You're not worried about Arkansas.
No, of course not.
Not worried about Mississippi State. Frankly, you might not be worried about A&M the way you are Ole Miss today. It's complicated. You can get a little whatever, but you could squint and have that argument.
I mean, I think the whole league looks around and goes, God, I hope A&M never hires somebody competent.
Yeah.
Because, oh, shit.
Yeah. I need you to keep doing your A&M thing you always do.
Yeah.
Because you guys never really win, so keep doing that.
But you could see how A&M could become a winner fast.
And Ole Miss has got to fix a lot of things. Look, they got to go to the portal. They need wide receivers. They need defensive players. There's stuff. I mean, you look at snap counts here. Ole Miss is not playing a lot of bodies at all.
No, we didn't even get to it, and maybe we will in a little bit. But I meant to write about it on Sunday. I just felt so bad that I couldn't collect my thoughts, and then I took cough medicine and I was drunk. So, you can criticize a lot of things. I mean, this team I think is going to go 10-2. I think they're winning Saturday. I think they're beating State.
And they go see Mickey Mouse on January 2nd.
Or the old Outback Bowl, one or the other. And who knows? But yet in the midst of that, there are things I can criticize. So the ceiling? Oh, hell no. They don't touch the ceiling. I mean, they're offensively, they're only paying like 16 people a game.
That's what I said. Ole Miss has gone to 3 Access Bowls in the last 7 years or whatever it is, 8 I guess now. And now running on a 10-2, which is a better record than those other 2 years under Freeze when they went to Access Bowls. And they have not operated at peak efficiency at all. There's lots of things where you look at it and go, no, that could be better. Even inside the realm of relativity that's going on there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And if Ole Miss goes 10-2, and again, this doesn't matter because teams fall out all the time and it does not equal wins next year, and Lane especially stays and the roster is not turned over in some negative portal way, with Dart and Judkins coming back next year, they would be ranked like 8th in the preseason next year. I mean, really high.
Yeah, I mean, I have to look at it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got the top running back in the league, and you got a quarterback who's back. You know, I mean, that's how polls work.
Of course.
So, I mean, you're talking about an entire offseason of that kind of stuff. Now, they need wide receivers. They're losing everybody. But
inside the division, Alabama's got to replace. God, he's so good. I mean, I know it was emotional for people, but I hope you appreciated the talent that you saw on display at quarterback for Alabama.
He is the reason they are not fairly mediocre from a record standpoint.
No, he's the reason they're not mediocre.
Yeah.
My God, he's special. He did some special stuff. Those 2 plays that led to touchdowns on 3rd and goal, broken plays.
Mm-hmm. The roll to the right and the giving himself a second, and throwing it over and under the windows.
I mean, dude, special player.
Most other quarterbacks, and that's picked and headed back the other direction.
I put my binoculars on him so many times on Saturday, and to watch the way that he carries himself on the field, totally calm. Never, ever, ever loses his cool. Might get frustrated with himself a little bit. Never gets frustrated with his teammates. It's amazing. Dude is a special player.
Just a little quick aside here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the defense has had plenty of its problems at times. They did a really nice job on Jahmyr Gibbs on Saturday. He got very little of anything from a run game standpoint. The backup got some traction there in the 3rd quarter when they got tired, but I don't think I even mentioned it in my post-game show. They did a good job on Gibbs on Saturday. So, all right, we'll continue the conversation in a second. First, about Prime Shrimp. PrimeShrimp.com. 6 different flavors available to you, including their most recent offering, the lemon cracked pepper, the signature. Those are the 2 most versatile options that they have. They also have the spicy Louisiana shrimp bowl, the full meals in a bag, the French Quarter Alfredo, and the garlic herb butter, and the Simply Shrimp, where you season it yourself. It's great for the more discerning palate or kids. Get it shipped directly to your door, then throw it in the freezer. Fewer than 10 minutes from freezer to plate with restaurant-quality shrimp from Prime Shrimp, and use code MPW for $20 off your first order. Again, that's PrimeShrimp.com.
We're also brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. It's pharmaceutical grade, manufactured right here inside Mississippi. They've got lots of different products, prescription support, fish oil, there's different vitamins and supplements. You should check them out. SolutionsRx.com. Type in the promo code OEP at checkout. Get 10% off your first order. We're about Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Highway 7 South in Holcomb, Mississippi. At Holcomb, they will custom build your building to your specifications, however you want your carport, ATV or storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, or other buildings. Holcomb can accommodate you. You pick the color, the style, the windows, the doors. Holcomb makes it happen. In-house financing is available as well. Free delivery and setup within 75 miles of Holcomb. 662-226-2233 or go to holcombbuildings.com. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram at Holcomb Portable Buildings. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before while you drink. Overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for the next place. Go to GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned and operated by my buddy Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation Recognized System Integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. It's ACSLLCMS.com or call 662-601-4381. And we're brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's located at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century, basically. Whatever you're looking for in your gifting, whether it's fine jewelry or watches or pearls or fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, whatever, they've got it. Not only they have it, they're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at LammonsFineJewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777.
Podcast also brought to you by Style Assembly, located just off the square in Oxford. It's a women's boutique that is ready for the fall, and they can help you ladies or the ladies in your life with your fall needs, no matter the budget, size, or occasion. They help you assemble your style to celebrate the Rebs or just to come in as the changing seasons. They're offering big incentives to Rebel Grove subscribers and podcast listeners. Still a couple more weeks available on this. From now until the end of November, you can enter to win a $250 gift card to shop at Style Assembly, get Christmas taken care of, holidays, and more. To do that, just go into the store, tell one of the sales associates, or ask for the owner, Kate. Say, hey, I came to check out Style Assembly and what they have to offer. No purchase necessary at all. Just do me a favor. Head into the store, They just want to get to know you and hope they can help you in the future of your styling or gifting needs. Men don't be intimidated to win the gift card either. They have a huge selection of Gooder sunglasses and much more. So that's shopstyleassembly.com and see all their social channels from there. That's Style Assembly just off the square. Let's see, a couple different things. Was that the majority of what you had on that?
I think so. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to do this where I'm not I don't want to just insult the whole world because people could end up being right, but I do think there's a certain amount of guesswork that's going into, quote, reporting, end quote. And look, maybe it's smart to do what they've done. I mean, you and I we could probably sell more subscriptions between now and next Saturday if we do a new message board thread every day and tweet it out, and just feels sort of disingenuous.
There are reports that a second football player also among those killed in Charlottesville.
Start to wonder if it was targeted at football players.
Yeah, there's another. I have not seen enough clarification to give a name, so I'm going to avoid that here on the show. But I'm reading Twitter media reports here that at least potentially a second football player is among the victims.
That's awful. Just awful.
So.
Terrible.
Now it looks like it is confirmed a receiver, Lavelle Davis Jr., among it as well. So, a Deshaun Perry and Lavelle Davis Jr.
Where did this happen? In a parking garage?
I was reading
the football facility or something.
I don't know about where. I don't know that campus well enough for that. But I've only been there one time. But the University of Virginia Police Department was their first tweets about the incident were saying near a parking garage on campus. So, yeah, I don't know. Bill Bunning, who we both know is one of the communications directors at Virginia.
Yeah.
He was the baseball SID here for a number of years. So anyway, okay.
Long horrible day there.
Oh, I just can't even. Well, I mean, they don't have the shooter yet, to my knowledge. I mean,
yeah, I haven't looked in a little while, but as of when we got started,
they were still doing a manhunt and telling people not to approach him should they see him. That was the last that I've seen on that. I'm gonna get in the lines in a second. We made message board geniuses this morning. Congratulations.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doxing the officials. So
our board doxed the officials?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I missed that along the way, but it's fine. Okay. Getting a couple other things.
At least we're not doing the officiating podcast.
No, we're doing a different podcast.
I'm thrilled that we're not.
Yeah. Some action again this week. I was going to just quickly hit a couple lines for people. No, it's bad pod. Sorry, I didn't have it up. I didn't know when it said that we were doing this. A lot of FCS inferior cupcakes for SEC teams this week.
Yeah, it's a crappy slate.
It's a bad week. Did you get to 10 games?
Is there a line? UMass is no line, right?
That's a D1 school. I figure there is.
You got 1, Florida Vandy's 2, Georgia Kentucky's 3, Western Kentucky Auburn's 4, Tennessee South Carolina's 5, Ole Miss Arkansas 6, Bedlam is 7, USC UCLA is 8, UAB LSU is 9, Utah Oregon's 10.
Oh, there you go. Look at you.
There you go.
Austin Peay Alabama, East Tennessee State, Mississippi State. UMass is in College Station. A&M is going to win a football game on Saturday. They are going to celebrate, and they're going to saw varsity's horns off and the whole deal. It is 33.5 is the line on that game. It opened at 34. It's now at 33.5. The Minutemen are god-awful. And A&M, look, I was really – I don't know the dude. I was really happy for Cadillac on Saturday night. I really was. Like, he was emotionally happy. I was all good. They look like raw hell. A&M looked horrid on Saturday night. Just horrid. Offensively, I mean, my God. That was – I found myself watching more than I meant to because I'm just staring at it going, really?
Yeah, I couldn't decide what was more shocking, the game or the postgame.
Jimbo Fisher has more losses than A&M's preseason ranking.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bet that hadn't happened much, has it? You mean the celebratory chaos that was on the plains on Saturday night?
Yes.
You thought it was a little over the top?
Yeah.
Did you?
I mean, I thought it was bizarre. I mean, what's their record now?
I don't know, 4-6, maybe.
I mean, you beat a bad A&M team without Devin Achane didn't play. Moose Muhammad didn't play. I'm not sure who did play. You beat them.
Evan Stewart played.
You beat them by 3 points.
You did.
A&M clearly didn't care. The players, the coach appeared to, but the players did not. And they got cultural issues there, big time. I don't know what it is that you're celebrating in that moment. That just the aura of Auburn.
I think you're seriously just celebrating that you were happy for Cadillac to win a football game. Nothing else makes sense. I mean, come on, you're not going to a bowl. Not that you cared about that anyway, but Alabama's going to beat you in a couple weeks. You think it's potentially problematic. You think it was the first sign that if everything went all to hell, maybe.
I mean,
you know the place. I don't. What do you think? Is there a world where they get there?
Okay, let's play this game.
Sure.
Lane Kiffin decides not to go. Dan Lanning says, "No, I'm good." Just play along with me. They upset Alabama. I watched Alabama Saturday. Crazier things.
I mean, sure. The inferior team is. I mean, hell, I almost did it last year. They should have.
They upset Alabama.
Yeah.
What then? Now, they could lose to Western Kentucky on Saturday.
They could.
Western Kentucky's fairly decent. But let's just say for kicks and giggles, they beat Western Kentucky and they knock off Alabama.
I thought the path to this happening was beat State last week, beat A&M this week, beat Western Kentucky, and then you're probably not beating Alabama, but just play them really close. I thought that was the only way where you get there. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Lanning says no, Kiffin says no. You decide you just can't do the Hugh thing.
I think there are people there that feel like they just can't do the Hugh thing. Now, I was told last night that if it's not Kiffin,
that's where they would.
They kind of felt like it would end up being Freeze. But it was a sort of half-hearted endorsement. This was not an Auburn person. This was a national person who I know. I don't know. Just see. It's the problem when you fire your coach is that the moment that you fire your coach, it's not his problem anymore. Like literally that moment. You're fired. Hey, Brian.
Well, it's why in a lot of ways I understand why Cadillac's the interim. I'm not even necessarily criticizing anybody, but if you made some other dude in the interim, you're not having this conversation today.
Or if you just said, hey, dude.
No matter what.
You like your money? Okay. You're going to have to finish this slog.
Mm-hmm. We all know where we're headed, but hey, buckle up.
I give Pete Boone credit for that part of the Houston Nut deal. I criticize him for you can't say that publicly in September, but once you decide, hey, and you're going to finish the season. This is your team. This is your mess. Live with it. We're going to pay you your money, but we're not doing some interim deal where a bunch of kids rally around an interim. No, sir.
Yeah.
This is your mess. Live in it.
Yeah, they weren't going to risk the Keith Burns, Tyrone Nix, whatever, where they go, hey, they win an Egg Bowl, and suddenly, hey, some stuff happens.
That's it. But, I mean, look, the odds
are low.
Very low.
Yeah.
But, like, there's going to be pressure on whoever gets that job to retain Carnell Williams.
Oh, now that is.
If I'm coming in and I'm like, hey, I've got to change this program and make it mine, I don't know that I want him around.
Because no matter who the new guy is, his Q rating is not as high as Carnell.
Not unless it's Lane Kiffin.
I mean.
And good luck telling Lane Kiffin who to hire, by the way. Don't get me wrong. There's a part of me, and it's a very small part because I know what I do for a living. I know who my customer base is.
Uh-huh.
But I would actually, in a parallel world, love to see Lane Kiffin at Auburn when he tells them, no, I'm not doing it that way. I don't care. Well, this is how we want. I don't care.
Yeah. Hey, you got a meeting at 9. We got to have you go do.
No, I'm going to send my guy in for that meeting, and he's only staying for a couple minutes. And by the way, don't ever talk to me again.
You go through him when you need me. Yeah.
When John Cohen, who's used to getting John Cohen's way, wants his meeting with Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin doesn't show up, which will happen if that happens. Lane may or may not send a liaison. Or a liaison might just take it upon himself or herself to go.
Yeah.
Without Lane's knowledge.
Yeah.
These are things that could happen. Different world.
Yeah. Vanderbilt coming off a win on Saturday, knocked off the Kentucky Wildcats, which have been a certifiable train wreck since they left Oxford. Florida looked really good against South Carolina because South Carolina has a tendency to suck at times.
Well, Florida, when there's good, Anthony Richardson's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did beat Utah this year. Florida minus 14.5 in Nashville on Saturday. Like I'm laying these points. If Vanderbilt wants to get me twice, they'll just get me twice.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But good for them. I was pumped for them.
TCU, Baylor. TCU still trying to hold on to one of those top 4 spots. They are a 2-point favorite at Baylor on Saturday.
Credit to them. They keep winning.
I get why they're making the playoff if they went out. They just should. I have no problem with it. Tennessee would beat the hell out of them.
Agreed.
I mean,
I think we can make a list of SEC teams that would.
Tennessee is if Tennessee, and I can't believe I'm defending Tennessee today, but I am. If they go undefeated, they're not making the playoff. If they don't get in the playoff, it's simply because they had to play Georgia. Like, I mean,
there.
Yeah, I mean,
in the rain.
Yeah. Because I give them some credit. They got back up and hammered Missouri on Saturday.
I mean, TCU's a nice team.
But
let's go over the list of SEC teams that would beat them. Georgia.
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
LSU.
Yes. Tennessee.
Ole Miss.
It's at least there.
I agree.
That might be it. But
5.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So to get a top 4 seed then, I mean, good luck when you're the 4 and you head to Athens or wherever they're playing the bowl game at for the semifinal. Liberty coming off that loss to UConn. God, Virginia Tech sucks that bad. Liberty's a 9-point favorite over the Hokies on Saturday. They're that bad? Virginia Tech's like that bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's their coach now?
Somebody that I've never heard of.
Okay. It's not going well.
No.
Illinois at Michigan on Saturday. They're not going to win.
No.
Michigan minus 17.
Lay them.
I think they're better than Ohio State.
I do too. I have them ahead of Ohio State.
I do. I think they're better. I really do. UConn, after getting bowl eligible with the win over Liberty on Saturday, they head to West Point, New York, and are 10.5-point underdogs to Army on Saturday.
Credit to Jim Mora Jr.
Done a hell of a job. I said this week one. They played Utah State, and I was sitting there watching it, and I said, you know what? They don't suck. They're not good, but he's
a good coach.
They beat Utah State, and now at that point, I thought Utah State was better. They ended up being bad,
right.
But Washington went,
No, he's a good coach. He is. He's solid. Jim Mora Jr.
Might be the gifts of all gifts, by the way. Just heads up to the people if crazy things happen that Utah State sucked at football this year.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Is it Washington? It's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Hey, John, thanks for that blowing up, by the way. Yeah, got that one. Thanks. Appreciate that. Let's see.
Sometimes the football gods giveth, and sometimes they taketh away.
They do.
But when they giveth, you say thank you.
Georgia is in Lexington. It's your CBS game of the week. If that tells you anything about what that slate looks like this week, as Kentucky is hosting the Crew there, that is unlistenable and unwatchable at this point. Kentucky getting 22.5 at home against the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday. I just lay them. I don't care if I lose. I lose. I'm not taking Kentucky to cover this line whatsoever. Texas is in Lawrence, Kansas, 9.5, giving the Jayhawks there in Lawrence. TCU dominated the Longhorns on Saturday.
They
did
did
play well.
They did.
They played
TCU played well. Texas is – boy, there's a lot. We're running up on the end here, but there's a lot you could talk about that Texas game. There's a lot you could talk about.
We have time this week.
There's a lot there.
You thought it was revealing in some ways.
I thought the game was revealing. I thought there were some other things that happened around it that were revealing. Yeah, there was a lot there.
There were a couple things.
Caught my attention.
Yeah, we'll get there. Let's see. Clemson, -19 against Miami, sure, whatever. Ohio State, -27.5 at College Park on Saturday, whatever. South Owls in Hattiesburg, pretty good game.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a real good game.
That's a good game on Saturday.
A real good game. Kane's done a really good job. Will's done a pretty good job.
Did Southern beat somebody Saturday? What'd they do? I feel like I ran across it somewhere.
Hey, Siri, who won the Southern Mississippi football game?
Oh, they just lost to Coastal. That's what it was. Yeah, 26-23, Chanticleers. So it was
South Owl won, right? I kept asking Siri for the South Alabama score, and she kept giving me the Alabama score, and I was like, I'm aware of it. I was there.
They beat Texas State 38-21. They're 8-2 on the season.
Had a good year.
They play at 3:30 against Southern Miss on Saturday.
Okay.
That is your update on the Jags. I'll run through the lines a second. Podcast brought to you in part by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. Remember, they have a holiday open house coming up. That is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's November 26th from 12 to 5 p.m. A lot of samples, snacks, refreshments, along with all of their holiday gifts, free gift wrapping, giveaways, pre-orders for the holidays, and so much more. So that's their shop right there on White Oak Lane, just off Molly Bar in Oxford. Take advantage of it. Tons of different things there to pick up for the holiday season. You're going to have parties. You're going to have family over. Johnson Hill Creamery, who makes all their cheeses locally and in-house every day. Their charcuterie boards are awesome and more. So, again, Instagram page to see pictures and videos of their different items or johnsonhillcreamery.com.
We taped a Mind on My Money late last week. That's brought to you by Pinnacle. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. McCready and Siskey will record later today. Tyler will probably rub it in my face that he had a great weekend, and I did not. On the road to Boise. Speaking of Boise, the people that we booked the road to Boise through is John Edwards at Regency Travel Incorporated. Made it so easy. He'll do the same for you. Give him some parameters and a budget. He'll take care of it. Make it a trip that is so easy that you can enjoy. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's new Greek restaurant on the square. Opa is the perfect place to plan your Christmas party. Featuring fabulous food, craft libations, let them host your company dinner or festive party event. Opa can accommodate up to 200 guests. For catering or booking information, call Jeannie, 601-421-7147. I'm taking questions at rebelgrove.com for the mailbag, which is brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. We'll have picks up on Thursday. It's now a 3-team race, 3 teams within 1 game of each other. Me and Parham and Jeffrey Wright making a late season move. Even Rippey had a good week. But
it's like the NCAA tournament. Close doesn't mean good, but hey, it is close. It is dramatic
close.
The rest of
Got
the way.
A chance, yeah. It's brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. Been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, they can help. If you're looking to hire, they can help you as well. It's always free for the customer. For the person searching for a job. And payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. 662-832-5138 or servicespecialistltd.com. Don't forget Corinth Dental as well if you are looking to make a better version of yourself. They reinvent themselves one smile at a time at Corinth Dental. They're devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. They have 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available as well. Again, corinthdental.com. Pinpoint Commercial Real Estate is based out of Jackson. They service the entire state in all commercial asset classes, such as industrial, retail, office, medical, and land. B.B. Mitchell is the point guy you need to get in touch with there at Pinpoint. He advises clients looking to acquire income-producing property with all risk tolerance levels ranging from vacant buildings to investment-grade stabilized assets. Just get in touch with him, and he'll take great pride in his attention to detail, professionalism, and hard work. 601-934-5008.
Auburn, speaking of, they are 6.5-point favorites over Western Kentucky on Saturday on the Plains. I know nothing about Western Kentucky.
Well, I do. I've bet them several times on McCready and Siskey, and they've been really good to me.
Have they?
And
you can ride it?
Keep an eye on them. Don't be surprised.
You got a money line that?
What is the money line?
You can't do it. Never mind.
I can.
It's an SEC game.
Yeah, but I at this point, all bets are off. What is that money line? Have you seen it?
I can get it for you.
It's probably not a great value. It's probably like 155, 160. I mean, they have a real shot to win that game.
205.
205. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, 205.
It's on the short list.
Okay. Your Iowa Hawkeyes are in Minneapolis on Saturday, and they are 2.5-point dogs. Minnesota.
I'm mad at myself here, and I'll talk about this on McCready and Siskey, but this is what gets me and why I lose all the time, is that all jokes aside, I've watched Iowa all season, and we do the joke about the offense, but when I say they fixed it, this is a relative thing.
They're not Tennessee. Let's not get it.
At the beginning of the year, like the roof had
completely incompetent.
The roof had completely come off the offense. They've put a roof on. Is it a great roof? No. But is it keeping the water out for now? It is. Is it insulated? Not really, but you're warmer than you would have been.
It's a nice tent.
It's better than that. They're going to have to do a complete renovation.
Shanty hut.
Yeah, but they have fixed it enough to get to the fixing season.
All right.
And I knew they were going to win Saturday. I knew they were going to beat Wisconsin. The line was like a point.
Yeah.
Instead of just jumping on it, I'm like, no, I'm doubting myself. And that's why I kill myself. And I go searching for something more exotic. I knew Iowa would win, and they did. They've made the offense serviceable for now.
Has he saved his job?
No. Ferentz?
Yeah.
He's got to fire his son.
That's what I meant. I meant his son. No shot.
No.
Okay.
No. He's made it where his son can, go find something else.
I gotcha.
But the defense is very, very good and has been all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ohio State lit them up. Okay, they lit up everybody. Other than that, they've been
really
you
good. Like them in Minneapolis on Saturday?
I don't hate them.
Because Minnesota's been a little weird.
They've been a little inconsistent. Yeah. Iowa's pretty consistent.
Okay. Take your word for it. The history has not been necessarily storied throughout their program, but I don't know if there's ever been a worse the game, Stanford and Cal, as this year. Good God, it two horrible teams.
They should just let the bands play.
Cal giving Stanford 5 points.
Sure.
I mean, whew. North Carolina -20 at home against Georgia Tech on Saturday. Tennessee.
Hey, you want to hear a hot rumor?
Sure.
The quarterback at UNC, watch him in the there's rumors that he's going to jump in the transfer portal.
He would be worth something. He's been pretty good.
There's a certain team that I know is very interested.
Really? Okay.
They were in Vaught Hemingway Saturday.
Really?
Wearing the white.
Oh, okay. Well, he would help.
He changed things.
Does that mean they don't like Ty Simpson?
Starting to wonder.
Yeah. Because, look, we heard all this stuff, and, he wasn't even the backup.
Starting to wonder.
Yeah. Tennessee giving 22 in Columbia, South Carolina on Saturday. Take Carolina at your own risk.
I think I'm laying those points.
Yeah,
I'm not.
They stopping them?
No. And Tennessee's playing for style points right now, whether they should or shouldn't. They clearly are.
You have to.
Either that or Heupel hates Drinkwitz.
Yeah, what was that?
I think
dude was still tossing.
I think we're going to put numbers up that make the committee take us seriously. 700
yards, 60 points. It was a bludgeoning.
Did you see the receiver in the post game?
No.
Someone said something about 700 yards, and he was like, And then he looked at somebody and was like, they're like, yeah, we did. And he was like, oh.
That's a lot. 700 yards.
Wow. There was like a genuine moment of, is he right? Oh, he is right? Son of a.
Yeah. Look, this is one of those B-list games if you're just flipping, but if it's late, not a terrible game. Iowa State hosting Texas Tech on Saturday. It's okay.
No, it's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, two decent teams.
Ole Miss -3 now in Fayetteville on Saturday. It opened at 2. It's now at 3.
So to me, the only question here
is Ole Miss prepared?
Does Ole Miss
and is KJ
I think KJ's going to play. Now, how effective KJ can be.
Because if KJ doesn't play, Ole Miss is winning the football game.
Oh, I think they're winning no matter what. The only path that Arkansas has to keeping it competitive is – and then here's the other thing. It's going to be 21 degrees.
Is it really that cold?
Yeah, it's going to be cold. Clear, but 21. Footballs get a little slick when they get cold. Makes turnovers a possibility. I mean, if you say, hey, what's the path for Arkansas to win? It's that they run the ball against Ole Miss. Although I thought Ole Miss was really good against Alabama's run Saturday. And then they turn it over. And then just, can you get back up emotionally? They were really ready for Alabama. Can you get back to that place in a week where you have all this outside noise too? Because the noise isn't going away.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it throughout the week. We'll see what any hints at all that Pittman gives in his press conference. Lane talking again today at noon for that one.
Speaking of, I'll have what he said, what he meant later today. If you're a displaced corporate executive or wanting to put your career in your own hands, if you're an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify, Andy Ledecky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. Call Andy. Put your life and career in your own hands. 100% free. So what do you have to lose? It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901.
So let's see, where were we? Bedlam is on Saturday.
Why is that line 3, by the way, the Ole Miss Arkansas line? Why is it just 3 points? I guess it was 3 last week and it was a push.
Week.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Lane,
you take Harold Perkins off the field, and that's an L for LSU.
That dude.
Whew. He's special.
Well, it was like that stupid infographic that SC Network did the little thing the other day, and it was like top 3 freshmen or whatever, and the one dude didn't have Perkins or Judkins on the list. And it went, oh.
I'm going to be real here. I don't have a vote, but if I did, and you say SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Harold Perkins.
He has been more impactful than Will Anderson this year.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And if you say Player of the Year, it's Hooker.
Yeah, sure.
And Freshman of the Year, it's Judkins.
Yeah.
But Defensive Player of the Year, it's Perkins. Not even close. I mean, who else is it going to be?
He's been the most impactful player on the SEC West race this season.
Yeah, he beat Ole Miss by himself.
And he beat Arkansas by himself.
Yeah. And
Arkansas wins that football game without Harold Perkins.
And he was the guy that
– oh, it's true.
With Alabama that he was the spy on Bryce all day. And again, I love Bryce Young. I'm just – as a football player, and I'm like Lane. Lane said after the game, I'm glad I don't have to ever play him again. He's going to make some franchise really happy. He's right.
Yeah.
It's coming in the spring. I'm just going to let you know. Well, he's small. I don't care. He's got hands. I don't care. He's a winner. Okay. Well, he only played with good players. Yeah, in the NFL, he only played with good players.
Yeah. Oklahoma giving 6.5 to Oklahoma State on Saturday. Bet at your own freaking risk, because who knows with those two teams.
Yeah, no
I'm out. SC UCLA on Saturday. UCLA, which falls to Era freaking Zona on Saturday night of all things. Just a horrendous loss for the Bruins. Plus 2.5. I mean, at home, but whatever. SC minus 2.5, quote, at UCLA on Saturday. LSU minus 15 at home against UAB. Sure, whatever. Game they will not care about other than winning. Washington minus 30.5 after beating Oregon against Colorado at home. Sure. Utah and Oregon. Oregon minus 3 at Autzen against Utah. on Saturday.
It'll be a good game. Boy, Oregon.
Dan Lanning.
Oregon.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
Just pissed it away. I mean,
Had Washington beat.
The guy at Washington has done a really good job this season.
Oh,
he's done a great job this season.
Hey, listen, that guy's good.
Yeah, they've done a really, really good job.
Now, if you wanted an entertaining football game, that was it.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And then if you're still up and you need an 11 p.m. kick, the UNLV Rebels are at the Hawaii Warriors on Saturday night. In front of all tens of people.
Kickoff's at 6:30. I won't get out of the stadium. In all seriousness, I'll get back to the hotel room and probably turn something on.
So your choices to turn on will be Fresno State at Nevada or UNLV at Hawaii.
Yeah, or find a Family Guy.
Well, actually, no, I take that back. You've got a shot at catching some Utah-Oregon.
Yeah, because it's not till 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of a shot there at that point of seeing a little of that. We'll talk NFL tomorrow. Two teasers before we do that. One, my Vikings yesterday.
I know.
Beating Buffalo.
I know. Did you watch that game?
I did. Even without Josh Allen earlier in the week, I like the Vikings +6 going into the week, but then they win even yesterday with Allen playing. Now, he has been horrific with decision-making the last few weeks. He's by far the best quarterback, but he's been fairly bad relatively the last few weeks.
Where are we on Kirk Cousins now? I mean, don't we have to at least open up the floor to a different conversation?
He was the best. He's been for a while the best quarterback outside of that because he hasn't had the big playoff run. I've told you, I've always kind of compared him to Andy Dalton when he was with the Bengals. And he beat the Saints in the playoffs multiple times. Cousins has been a pain in my ass, but no, he's playing incredible football. They're 8-1, I think now. That's what the Vikings are.
Yeah, if we judge quarterbacks on winning.
He's winning. And then two, I still want to talk about the Colts. They beat the hapless Raiders yesterday. Jeff Saturday winning in his debut.
Yeah.
So anyway,
the Raiders
are horrible. They're the worst coach team in the NFL. They are by far the worst coach team in the NFL. They are better than that.
Shouldn't that be a really attractive NFL gig?
Yes. Great fan base. Nationally too, not just locally.
Because you have the Raiders and you have Vegas.
Yeah, that's a good gig. You're in a tough division, but that's a good gig. It's a really good gig. So,
and no, I'm not hinting at anything.
No. We're just talking.
That I am. I'm just talking.
Yeah, he's not going to work for Mark Davis.
No,
that's not where this thing's
going. He's been down that road.
Yeah. So tomorrow, some NFL talk, some more Lane again today at noon. So we'll clearly have more Lane Kiffin conversation tomorrow on the show as well. McCready at Siskey today at 2, Lane at noon, and more on the site and the network. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.